Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. Wherever you are in the world, we are thrilled to have you. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and our show today is Secrets to Timeless Beauty with our expert, Katrina Valente. We have a very special show about one of my favorite topics, I don't think so, menopause. But we're going to be talking about menopause and strength. Let's welcome Katrina to the program. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Glad
it's a
to
sexy
be back.
Topic, right?
It is not a sexy topic.
It's like, no, we don't want to talk about it, but we're sweating profusely. We can't sleep. All kinds of things are going on. But before we get into the topic, I just want to welcome your network on YouTube. So do you want to say something to your people on YouTube out there?
Yeah, so welcome. We are streaming live. This is new for me. So I hope you find this episode helpful. We're going to be talking all things menopause, strength training, and diet, and how to get through this difficult time in your life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Katrina. And you are located in Dubai. And for people who don't know you, you have many, many areas of expertise. And in fact, I just added one to your banner, relationship expert. But tell our audience a little bit about the work that you do and the value you can bring to them.
Okay, so I've been an anti-aging expert for many, many years, 28 years. But nowadays, I'm doing a lot more energy clearing work and coaching, especially in the area of relationship. I've also kept on a few of my body treatments, the medical lymphatic drainage massage and the raindrop massage, which realigns the electromagnetic field of the body. And so I'm offering these kinds of healing modalities moving forward.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I've really been enjoying following you on Instagram. Your video posts are outstanding. Tell our audience about that and how they can also follow you.
Well, I'm on Instagram as Katrina Valente and the number 1. And I haven't been dating much for the last few years. I've been working on desert islands and I've been in and out of Dubai. So I really haven't had much time to focus on dating and relationships. So when I came back in May, I decided to go on the dating apps, all to my disbelief. But I thought that's the quickest way I'm going to be able to interact with men. And then I went on 12 dates in 12 days, mainly for coffee dates, just meeting guys, interacting, see if there's anything that I like. So I made a blog out of it. And it was a good way for my viewers and my clients to see me in a different light, because I've been known in holistic aesthetics for so long. It's been difficult for people to recognize me doing something else. So it's really helped to turn the corner on that front.
And you're fantastic in your interview skills. I really enjoy, especially with those 2 gentlemen you were speaking with. So when we think about dating or relationships or intimacy, and then we're going through menopause, wow, that is a downer. So
oh my God.
So let's take a step back. I'm not an expert in this area, and I know that Dawn is going to be joining us soon, and she is an expert in this area. But what is menopause, and does it do we feel it the same way? Every person experiences the same things.
I think it is the individual, but most of us, have the hot sweats, the thickening of the waist. You can't lose weight. Some women start having thyroid problems. And it is really a major change in your life where the estrogen drops, the progesterone drops. And these are all things that give you a fast track way to aging very quickly if you don't keep it in check. So things that can help it are definitely exercise. But as Dawn is going to explain to us, it's actually strength training. There's no more dilly-dallying around in the gym. We have to really go hardcore weights. Like, I think it's something like only 3 to 5 reps, that heavy. And what it does is it kickstarts your system to make it think that the estrogen is still active. And Dawn has actually done the program herself to test it on her own body as she was perimenopausal and she was getting all the symptoms. And she's got amazing results from it. And she has an app now called Moxie Strength, and you're able to subscribe and get the program from her. And I do believe the diet program as well. So it's very exciting, because with personal trainers, most of them don't really understand the hormones of women. And the hormones affect so many things. We get very tired now, we don't have as much energy, the skin gets a lot drier, you start to see the aging process really speed up. So if you have the tools to combat that, then it really makes it a lot more plain sailing.
I'm excited to speak with her about it. Thank you for that explanation. I was a personal trainer for many years, and I was trained to teach people something called super slow. And so you couldn't, if you could do 10 reps, then the weight wasn't heavy enough. So it was very slow, 10 seconds out, 10 seconds back. There was no motivation whatsoever. And this way you could get your workout in much quicker, and the results were profound. So I believe it's the same premise, even for the platform that I was on for so many years for solid core. Very slow, heavier weights, and you'll see the results. So one thing I think is interesting is many women I know of are not interested in weight training at all. And I think this is a big miss.
It's a huge miss, because we need the muscle mass. And, we lose muscle every year, as we age. I think it's 3%. So it's very, very important. It fights off osteoporosis. It keeps you nice and tall and straight. As women age, they shrink, they get shorter. And it's because they're lacking in the muscle mass. And it's important also to eat protein. We need to up our protein intake also. So these are all things that you have to look at now. And, women can start menopause as early as 40. So it's not a joke.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. We actually have Dawn setting up backstage. Once I see that she's set up her camera, we'll be ready to go. So something else that I've noticed lately, I go to the gym probably 5 days a week, and I see a lot of young women, especially, that are doing weight training, but spending a lot of time on their phone. So they'll do maybe one set of something, and then they're spending 5-10 minutes on the phone. And I'm wondering, is there a certain number of reps and certain number of sets and a flow that you need to have also to maximize your results?
Oh, absolutely. I think they say it's around 1 minute rest only, and then you do the second rep. If you're just moseying around on your phone and not paying attention, you're losing that critical time for burning fat and building muscle. So you should put your phone in your handbag or in the locker and leave it there. But a lot of people listen to music on their phone nowadays. I do. And so, everybody has got their phone, strapped to their hand at all times.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
so
really
true.
of detriment to society in a big way.
I agree with you. We're going to explore that topic a little bit more. Let's welcome our special guest, Dawn Raquel. Join us on our program. Hello.
Hello. Hi. How are you guys?
Hi, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today on Secrets to Timeless Beauty. We are talking about menopause and strength, and you're the founder of Moxie Strength. Tell us about that.
That's right. Yeah, well, Moxie Strength is a strength program that is specifically engineered for the menopausal woman, because as we age and we enter into the menopausal transition, so whether you're perimenopausal or postmenopausal, our needs for building muscle, of course, as we are losing muscle, as Katrina was saying earlier. So it is important that we start building the muscle, but how we build muscle as we have lost estrogen needs to change. And there are certain ways to work out that actually create if you have estrogen. So it behaves in the way that it used to when estrogen was in your body. We no longer have the estrogen, so we do things in order to create that similar environment so we can actually find ourselves again.
Thank you so much, Dawn. While I have you up on Spotlight, tell us about why you're so passionate in this area and bringing value to others.
Well, I've always loved fitness. What I love about it is the strength component. As women, we tend to give all of our energy out to other people, whether it's to our families, to our careers, to our friends. Women, our female energy is always life-giving. So we're always giving out. And we very rarely start turning it into ourselves and turning that strength, because we've always had the strength. That's the thing, is that women just don't miraculously become strong. We already are strong. It's just that we're usually sending it out to other people. So what I love is working with women in fitness. And when I see that spark in her eye, when she when she engages with her own strength for herself and she embraces it for herself. And one thing, as I've been moving into menopause myself, is that I can see how frustrating it is, because I, as an active woman, was seeing that my workouts just weren't working for me anymore. I was losing myself. I was gaining more belly fat. I was losing muscle, actually, as I was going in and still hitting the weights. I was actually losing muscle because I wasn't working out in a way that translated into my muscles any longer. And so if I, as an active woman, was feeling frustrated and lost in my beginning stages and my journey for menopause, imagine how many other women. And so as I was doing research and finding these things out for myself, I'm not anything special. I'm really not. I come from a family of obesity, heart disease, and I wasn't raised athletically. I'm not an athlete as per se. But I like to find things out, and I want to know why it is that these things are happening in my body and how can we address them. So it's a matter of finding out this new system and how to work with it rather than be frustrated with it and keep trying to do things the way I used to do them and not getting the results. And so when I found out this information for myself, my mind was blown, because then I started applying it to myself. In the last 3 months, I've lost 6% body fat. I'm not starving myself. I'm getting stronger. I'm building muscle. And like I said, I'm nothing special. So this is something that can be applied to all women wherever they're at. And if I can share my knowledge with people and get them to embrace their strength and then also find themselves again, it just feels good to feel good. And I don't want to be the only one that's feeling like this.
Fantastic. Thank you. I celebrate the work that you're doing, and I'm in complete agreement. I was saying to Katrina that I used to be a personal trainer on the side and would train people in something called super slow, where you could only do a maximum of 10 reps. If you could do more, the weight wasn't heavy enough. It was 10 seconds out, 10 seconds in. And I found a number of women were really afraid to use heavier weights, that they think they should do more sets with lighter weights. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it has its time and place in a certain age group. However, as we get older and we move into menopause, and like I said, we're losing the estrogen in our bodies, the receptor sites in our muscles change. And so the estrogen receptor sites in the muscles that used to be there that do respond to those higher rep ranges just aren't there any longer. And so those rep ranges don't translate any longer. So what we actually need to do is train in a higher rep range between, say, 5 to 8. So the strength rep range, and do as much weight as you can safely with good form. But those last couple of reps should be a struggle.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts to combine this process with interval training? So what I mean by that is I will jump rope 200 times, and if I miss, I have to start again. And that's in between sets of weight training. Is that a good plan or not so much?
I would keep that HIIT for the end, and I wouldn't do it for any longer than 20 minutes. So what's happening with that is that, so HIIT is absolutely incredibly appropriate for a menopausal woman because it, again, creates a system, or creates a reaction within our system that mimics what used to happen when estrogen was in control. Now estrogen isn't there in control, but there's things that we can do to spark those same reactions in the body. And HIIT is one of those ways. So, but the thing is a lot of people do HIIT for way too long. And so then they're actually not doing HIIT. They're doing, say, extra effort exercise. But if you're doing HIIT the way that it should be, you should be doing between 80 to 90% maximal effort for the period of time, and shouldn't be more than 1 to 4 minutes for HIIT. And then you have variable rest times. Then there's also sprint, which is applicable as well. This, again, shouldn't be any longer than 20 minutes, and the work time shouldn't be any longer than 30 seconds. So anywhere from, say, 4 to 30 seconds, but you are just working as hard as you possibly can during those 30 seconds. And then you have appropriate rest time so that you're rested up so that you can hit it hard again for the next 30 seconds. So for instance, I have a sprint protocol where I run for 30 seconds just as hard as I can. And those last couple of seconds, I feel like I'm going to fall off the treadmill. Like if I am working as hard as I possibly can to stay upright, like I'm working so hard. Then I rest for a minute. And then I do it again for 30 seconds. So do that, say, for 10 rounds, and then that takes me about like 15 minutes to do that. But I do maximal effort during those 30 seconds. So my maximal effort for sprints is between 90 to 100%. So I recommend that people get a heart rate monitor, because sometimes we don't realize how hard we're working. You know, sometimes like we look at it and go, oh, actually I could have worked harder. So I'm going to push myself a little bit more. We don't realize how hard we can actually push ourselves.
Thank you, Dawn. I want to dig into your app and your actual program. I just have a question beforehand. So what I'm experiencing, I'm 60 and I'm probably stronger than I've ever been, but my skin is not cooperating with me. My skin looks like I'm older than I am, and my muscles, I'm like younger than I am. What's going on there?
Well, it may be that, it's just one of the natural parts of aging, is that we lose collagen, we lose the tightness in our skin. But with strength training, it does promote collagen production within the body. So I have found that my skin gets tighter the stronger I get. So I would just say push the weights a little bit more. That's what I would suggest.
I like it. There's hope. Okay, tell us a little bit about your app.
So my app is Moxie Strength. It is specifically designed for the menopausal woman. It is a 1-month block program. So every month a new block will come out. And how it's designed is that it's a 1-week program with 2 upper body workouts, so 2 upper body strength workouts and 2 lower body strength workouts, and 3 either HIIT or sprint workouts interspersed in between those workouts. So either like my current month, I'm working right now on month 4. My current month has 1 day specifically just for HIIT. So I have a 20-minute workout, and then I do some core work afterwards, rather than putting it at the end of my strength program. So it's always best to do your strength first and then do the sprint or the HIIT at the end, and just blast out all the energy that you have left. So it's a 4-week program with 2 upper body, 2 lower body, and with those sprint and those HIIT interspersed in between. And the way that it's designed is also a menopausal woman should actually be on a 2-week strength cycle. So I've made it so that the recovery period is built into the programming. So the first week that you do the program, you hit your weights at about 60% of what you would normally be able to do for that movement pattern normally. So say, for instance, you know that you would be able to do 60 kg squats for 8 reps. So then you would knock that down to 60% for that first week. So you do all of the movement patterns at about 60% of what you know that you could do for maximal for that movement pattern and the rep prescribed. Then the next week, we bump it up to 80%. So what this is doing, it's actually, you're still doing the movement patterns, you're still doing strength, you're still doing the compound movements, you're still getting the benefit of the hit and the sprint, but there's a measure of rest that is incorporated into it, because we're bringing the weights right down into a rest and recovery range of weight amount. And you have to determine that for yourself, what your capabilities are, what your strengths are. So sometimes when I start into a new program or into a new block, I'm like, well, I don't really know how much I would be able to do for that movement pattern at that rep range. At maybe I've put in a tempo where it's a slow tempo on the way down. I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's this. So I make myself a little goal. I say, I think I would like to hit this on week 4 for my 100%. But so then I adjust my 60 and my 80% weeks based on this perceived goal. Then week 3, I bump it up to 100% or as close to 100 as I can. Sometimes I can only get to like 90%. It's okay. And then the 4th week, we're going for broke. Like, we're going to try to hit that 100%. If I was able to hit the 100% the week previous, then I try to hit 105%, 110%. So I'm always progressively overloading. And then the next week, I'm starting on the new 4-week block. So I have a new pattern of workouts for my upper body, my lower body, my hip, my sprint. And again, on those movement patterns, I knock everything back down to 60%. So then I'm into that recovery again. Then there's a build-up recovery. Then there's 2 weeks of really hitting it hard. Then the next week it goes to see how it's going. So there's always recovery that's built into it, but we're always incorporating complex movements and the strength programming into it.
Really exciting. And I'm going to go over to Katrina, but where can we find the app? Where do we get to download it?
You can find it right now through my Instagram at Dawn Raquel Fitness. It's in approval stage right now for Apple Store and Google Play. So soon it will be its own independent app. But on my bio, I have a link where you can find it. So you can find it through my app developers. They have an app that you can access it through.
Excellent. I'm going to go check it out. Thank you. Katrina, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I met Dawn in the gym, and she really is a beast in the gym. I mean, there's not many women that train like she does on a regular basis. And, since she's been telling me about this program, I have upped my weights, and it's incredible how much more I can actually lift when you put your mind to it, instead of moseying along, doing the same old. So I'm definitely coming on her program as soon as I get back from my vacation, because I think when you've been training for so long, you just get into a rut. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're never going to get any long-term results.
Right.
Very, very true. Looks like you have a friend there with you, Dawn. Who is that?
It's probably one of my cats.
Let's say hello. We love animals. We love animals on the show. It's great. So, Dawn, what I'm wondering also is when someone thinks they're in menopause, but they're not really sure, they can start this program. Do they have to be in menopause to do this workout, this process?
Well, no, like anybody would benefit from this. It's just that it's specifically designed for a menopausal woman who is losing estrogen, because there's different things that need to be addressed, as far as we don't burn the muscles out anymore. We don't do those high rep ranges, those 15, 20 rep ranges with lighter weights. It's just not going to translate into the muscles. Of course, it's going to have some cardiovascular benefit to it as well, but those things just aren't going to translate for us. But that doesn't mean that this workout program is also not beneficial, say, for men. Like, everybody worldwide, like, there really is a worldwide problem with strength. We really need to build our muscle, where all of our cultures are becoming very sedentary. So we need to start doing things in order to build the muscle, to build functional movement, so that we can move pain-free just in regular life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I just went to your Instagram. I'm following you now. And also I'm going to put in my information to get access to the app. I'm super excited about it. So, Dawn, what are some other things that you are doing in addition to help with this transformation? And so, for example, nutrition. Can people just eat whatever they want, follow the program, and get the same results?
No. See, this is the thing, is that as we get older, actually nobody eats enough protein. like across the board. But as we get older, we definitely need to start prioritizing the protein. We do also need to start making more like better choices as far as making things a lot more plant-based. So whether you're getting your protein source through plant-based sources or you're getting your protein sources through animal sources, it doesn't matter. You also need to start incorporating in a lot more plant-based to supplement that as well, to help with gut health, to help with fiber, because as we get older, our metabolisms do slow, our digestive systems slow. So even if we are eating healthy, it can like kind of slow down and back up. And that's where we're getting a lot of the bloating and everything happening. So I recommend that people get probiotics. I recommend that people figure out how much protein that they should be eating per day. An easy calculation is your weight in kilos, multiply that by 2.2. That will make your weight in pounds. And that's how many grams of protein per day you should be eating. So I need to eat roughly 150 grams of protein a day. That seems like a lot, but then when I break it down into 4 meals, that's about, say, between 30 and 35 grams per meal. So one of my meals that I do in the morning, I have 2 full eggs plus 4 egg whites that I scramble all together, put that onto a couple of toasted protein bread slices, and I have I have about 35 grams of protein just in that meal. So I plan my meals ahead of time so that at the end of the day, I don't go, oh my gosh, I have like this much that I still need to eat. I try to track it and I plan it through the day, and then I know exactly what it is that I need to eat. Takes all the stress out of it. And but I always approach every single plate of every single meal with protein in mind first, rather than thinking, oh, I feel like eating pasta today. I instead think, okay, so my protein source today is going to be salmon. What am I going to eat along with it? And I approach each of my plates in that manner.
Excellent. Thank you. Katrina, so you said you've been working out in the same gym with Dawn, and you've incorporated some of what she's teaching. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I've been doing it for very long, but she did a talk yesterday that I went to, so I was very focused when I went into the gym today, and I did legs, and I did do it all to my maximum. And it is incredible how much more you can actually push yourself and how quickly you get much stronger. I mean, that is really quite obvious and quite a revelation.
Yeah, so that's like the progressive overload, and that's why taking notes for each of your workouts is really, really important to keep track so you know where you ended last time. I take explicit notes. I do this for my clients, I do this for myself, and I'll even make notes as far as like, I really struggled on the last set, the last rep of this set, because when I do it the next week, perhaps I do every set completely smoothly and I have full range of motion and full strength at that weight. That in itself is progression. But from one week to the next, I don't remember what I did. So it's really important to keep those notes. But like Katrina said, it's really incredible to see how strong you can get. And the thing is that because as women, we tend to not want to do those lower rep ranges and the higher weights. We stay in the 12, 15, 20 rep range. And so we're used to doing the lighter weights, and we don't realize that actually you can do a lot more weight for 5 reps. You don't have to do it for 15 reps. You don't have to do it for 20 reps. You're only doing it for 5. And so it's really incredible to see how strong you actually are for 5 reps, 6 reps, 8 reps.
Yeah.
All right, Dawn. So I have to say, I went over to your Instagram and I saw your video of you doing pull-ups with a weight around your waist. What is with pull-ups? I'm so bad at pull-ups. I have to stand on the thing to pull myself up. You just jump up there. Is that something that all of us can do?
Everybody can do it. The only reason why you're not doing it is because you're not doing it. That's all. The only way you can get better at something is by practicing it. And the thing is that I started really incorporating chin-ups and pull-ups into my workouts. It's really, really humbling. It really is. We love to do things that we're good at. And especially as we get older, we don't like to be bad at things. We like to master everything. So it is really humbling. But the thing is again, it's with the progression. So I suggest that people start with bands, because then your body is going to be hanging in the way that it naturally would with gravity anyways, rather than the assisted machine with the pad that you kneel on. because when you kneel on it, your body isn't quite aligned in the way that it naturally hangs with gravity. So then the muscles are a little bit not quite aligned. So I found that I got a lot faster progression when I started practicing my chin-ups with bands, because then my body was moving in that same pattern that it does when it's not using bands. If you need to use 5, 6, 7, 8 bands, that's fine, because you're getting somewhere. You're starting that movement pattern. Then the next week, maybe take one of the bands off and see how many that you can do. Maybe then also you take the band off and you realize, oh, I could only do 3. That's cool. You did 3 at more weight, because every time you take an assistance off, you're actually pulling more weight than you were before. So for instance, last week, I was really struggling on my chin-ups, and that was because I'd actually gained weight. And I added weight also around my waist. So I actually was pulling more weight than I was the previous week. So to keep that in mind as well, if you put on some muscle is heavy, then you're going to be pulling more weight up and fighting against gravity. So again, it's one of those progressive overload kind of things, and just having patience. But if you know how to do it and to progressively move forward and cheer yourself on for each of the times, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm only using 3 bands now. I'm doing so great. I can't wait for next week when I'm going to try to do it with only 2 bands. And then you'll see that if you just do it progressively and have patience with yourself, that eventually you're going to be able to do them. It's just one of those things. But yes, everybody can do them. And the reason why not everybody is doing them is because not everybody is doing them.
I love it. I love it. I have a follow-up question, and then, sorry, Katrina, I'll go right over to you, which is, I'm doing the machine for the pull-ups. What are I know what bands are, but what do you mean bands in reference to the pull-ups?
Well, we have the resistance bands, and there's different thicknesses. So you can get, like mine, the biggest one is a green color. So it's a really big, thick color. You can see how many pounds or how many kilos it resists by, like it will hold you by. So start with those ones, the really, really thick ones, because it supports you. And then you put, I would put either both of my knees into the bands or even both of my feet, and then pull myself up. Then later what you can do is take one foot out, and then you're only supporting one foot. So it's lightening the resistance a little bit, or lightening the assistance a little bit. And so then what you can do is actually add more and more bands. So I have like a big thick one. So with my clients, what I do is I add the one big thick one. We try it. Okay, you didn't quite get one good rep there. So let's add a couple more of the thinner bands, because then that's going to add some more assistance as well. And then so I just keep adding them until we can get some good reps in there. Make sure that you're getting that full contraction, making sure you're getting that stimulus into the muscle, because that's another thing that needs to happen with menopause. As our muscles are changing, we're losing the receptor sites. We need the external force in order to get that contraction, to get the stimulus into the muscle, to trigger it, to build, to get strength, and to build that muscle mass that we so desperately need.
Wow, thank you. I've never heard of this before. I've seen those bands, and I don't know what the use is. So thank you. Yeah. Katrina, what are your thoughts?
I wanted to ask Dawn, do you touch on nutrition in this Moxie Strength program?
I will be, like as the app is developing and everything, I will be adding some master classes about how to track your protein, how to calculate your protein, and different things like that. But one thing that I'm really, really passionate about, and even with my personal training clients, is I don't give menu plans, because I want to teach you how to do it without me there. I can't be with you in the kitchen when you are building your meals. I can't be with you, say, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, but I want you to learn the principles as to how it is that you should be eating according to your training. So I teach those kinds of things. But as far as like offering a nutrition plan, I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't offer menu plans, because that's outside of my scope of expertise. So if you want to go to a dietitian and get yourself a really detailed menu plan, you can go and do that. But I teach basic principles that really work across the board. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're hitting that protein. We need to make sure that we are eating a lot of vegetables for the roughage, and we want a lot of berries. because it has antioxidant properties in it as well. So things like that.
Excellent.
Great question. Yeah, for sure. And it makes sense that stay in the area of expertise because we can't be everything to everyone, right?
Yeah.
So Dawn, what I'm wondering is, does it matter what time of day we work out? I know decades ago I was told, oh, you should work out as soon as you wake up so that you get it out of the way. But I don't do that. I do it at the end of the day. Does it matter?
I think you should work out when you like to work out. When are you going to get the best result from yourself? When are you most psychologically prepared? I know that I really struggle super, super early in the morning. Sometimes I have to do that based on my schedule and timings with clients. And it's like, well, I only have time today to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. I really struggle during those workouts. I prefer for my own rhythm. And if I could just have my life underwritten and paid for, and I don't have to worry about clients, and I could just do things whenever I want, it would be, say, at like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. That's the best for me, because then I can get some other things done. My system isn't so like just kind of trying to adjust to the fact that I'm even awake. And so for me, that works. I cannot work out at night. I do not have the energy for it at all. I've tried, and it just doesn't work for me at all. I really am my name. I rise with the sun and I set with the sun too. And you could watch, it is not a slow decline into tiredness. I just tank completely. So for me, nighttime doesn't work. But if it works for you, then do when you are going to go.
Excellent. Thank you. How about Katrina? So you must be working at the same time as Dawn.
No, we go to different gyms now, but I do have more energy in the morning. 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock is also good for me.
Now,
so they do say it is better to work out in the morning. But as Dawn says, I think everybody's different, and you have to train when you feel is right for you. You know, we're not all the same.
Very true.
And another thing too with menopausal women is that we have to be careful of cortisol levels. So cortisol is the stress hormone. And one thing that can happen is that if our cortisol levels are spiking too much and staying up at an elevated rate for too long, we're not going to lose fat, because the cortisol likes to store fat, especially around the belly. So if you're working out at a time that's just super stressful for you and you're not able to like enjoy it or whatever, then you're kind of working against yourself by increasing those cortisol levels. So go at a time when it works for you and it feels good and you like it, you feel empowered and you feel like, yeah, this is my time. You're not stressing yourself out about it.
As we're talking about that dreaded belly fat, I've seen some people over the years just focusing on doing crunches and doing leg raises and thinking that, oh, just do this and that's going to make a big difference. What do you recommend? Obviously, it's a complete package. You can't just focus on one area, but any tips that you have for exercises to help trim the waistline?
Well, that's one of the misconceptions, is that we can train a certain area of the body and it's going to lose fat there. Unfortunately, the body loses fat where it feels like losing fat. So what the crunches and the leg raises and everything are good for are for core strength, pelvic floor strength. So we're strengthening the muscles, but it doesn't do anything to the fat that's around the area. What it does do though, like say for instance, you're building up the muscle in your arms. As you lose fat, it's going to maintain a beautiful shape, because it's the muscle that gives shape to the body. So this is also something that women do wrong, is that they do loads of cardio, lose lots of weight, and then they end up with a body that they're like, oh, well, this isn't what I was expecting it to look like. I wanted this nice shapely body, but they haven't done anything as far as building up the muscle, because it's the muscle that gives the shape and the curves. So this is where that's what's happening when you're doing those exercises. You're building the muscle in that area, but it's not going to be burning the fat in that area. Now, what is happening during menopause as we're losing estrogen? Cortisol, like I said, is the stress hormone, and you're going to get a cortisol spike no matter what you're doing in exercise, because it is a stress to your system. However, if you're doing long steady state cardio, say you're doing cardio for an hour, but you're not really pushing it to one of these maximal 80 to 90%, 90 to 100% levels, where you're starting to get a metabolic burn and a metabolic response, and you're getting all of these triggers in the muscles and all of these different reactions in the body that help to spark a fat burn. What's happening then when you're doing these steady state cardios is you're maintaining a level of cortisol for a long period of time. And this is exactly what a menopausal woman does not need, because as we lose estrogen, cortisol can go out of control, because estrogen used to control the cortisol in the body. And when you start to have too much cortisol in the body, you start getting that belly fat. So this is why when menopausal women start to cut their calories, like they severely cut their calories, I've met women who are living on 700-900 calories a day, and they're like, I promise you, I'm only eating this much. It's very little, and I'm still gaining fat. And it's like, yes, because you've put your body into a state of so much stress, and then you're doing all of this cardio. You're essentially making yourself fatter because the cortisol is staying up super high, and estrogen isn't there to push it back down. So we're not, the long steady state cardio doesn't work for our systems anymore like it used to when we were in our 20s and our 30s, and we had lots of estrogen to help combat that steady state of cortisol spiking into our system.
Well, you just saved me a lot of time. I'm not going to be doing this Stairmaster for 75 minutes anymore. So
no, don't do that. In the first month of Moxie Strength, I do prescribe a 45-minute hike on the Stairmaster, because there is a muscle building aspect to it as well. But I'm also trying to build up people's endurance. So what I do is I tell people either break it down. If you can't do all 45 minutes in one go, then that's fine. Break it up into 3 10-minute or 4, my math is bad, 4 10-minute chunks, and do it that way. And then I'm actually conditioning people towards a protocol that's coming up in a later month of Moxie Strength, where we start doing fast walking on the stairs. I don't want to say that there's sort of like stair sprints, where we walk super fast, as fast as you can for 1 minute, and then you dead stop rest for 1 minute, and do that for 10 rounds, and you won't be able to, I lay on the floor at the end of it, and I'm not embarrassed. I'm just like, that's it. I don't have anything left.
Thank you, Dawn. We're coming to the end of our show. I have another question, but I want to go over to Katrina.
Yeah, I mean, I think she said it all. I've had Dawn on a live with me on my Instagram, and I was on with her talk. So I think I've got all the information. I just need to get on and do it now. I'm very excited, because I really feel I need to drop 3 or 4 kilos. And I feel that with the hot flushes becoming more, and I've stopped my estrogen and stuff, I'm really gaining weight for no apparent reason. And when you've trained all your life and you've never really had a problem, and if you wanted to do a juice fast, you would drop weight immediately. It's just not happening anymore, and it's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I'm going to be completely changing my workout when I go this afternoon to do that. So thank you very much. Dawn, my question for you is, we have 3 entrepreneurs here, and I'm sure we have many entrepreneurial people watching. What was that process, and what is it like to get your own app? Is it pretty seamless? Is it mind-blowing? How would you describe it?
Yeah, well, I worked with some developers that already had something that was ready and really user-friendly. So just a lot of plug and play. So it was a matter of me getting my content together and stuff. So that was good. It's not 100% what I want. So maybe in the future I'll be developing my very own app. But for now, I'm using this platform, and I've loved them. I think that they're fantastic. They've made it really user friendly, as far as, because I am not tech savvy at all. I'm good at squats, good at deadlifts, I'm good at the hip thrusts, but I'm not good at tech, like, at all. I'm barely good at counting. So.
Well, Dawn, while we have you up on Spotlight, how can people reach you, and who would you like to contact you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Dawn Raquel Fitness. You can also find me on my website, www.dawnraquelfitness.com. And anybody who is feeling frustrated with menopause and finding that they're losing themselves, an active woman who like Katrina, has been working out all of her life, and now all of a sudden things just aren't working. And also the beginner, somebody who has never lifted weights before, but feeling inspired and thinks that, yeah, this is what I need to be doing. I work all over the entire gambit. So reach out and let's see what we can do together.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us today, Dawn. I really appreciate meeting you and be signing up for your app and your program. And you've really sparked some ideas for me about how I can spend less time and get more results and get stronger. Yeah. And say no to menopause taking me down. That's it. So
no, it's a time of strength, empowerment, and transformation. This is our new reality, and we can totally embrace it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Katrina, how about you? How can people contact you, and who would you like to reach out?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Katrina Valente #1. My new website is katrinavalente.com. And I'm on Facebook also as Katrina Valente. So, you know, I'm doing energy clearing work, which can also tie in with what Dawn's doing, because when I clear your energy to do with weight or relationship to yourself, it just paves the way to get you more focused as if by magic, so that, you know, doing the diet, you know, getting rid of the chocolate becomes a lot easier. So that's how I can help you in this scenario.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Appreciate it. Our next show is coming up. It's a woman's prerogative, where we have our panel of women from around the world and we talk about various subjects. But before we leave, let's hear from our official sponsor, the British School of Excellence. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes. Building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school. This class is the best. This is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSc.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today.